Hi, I'm Michael Deegan with Legacy Rehabilitation Services, and I'll be talking about warm-up and stretching today. Your warm-up should be very specific to an activity that you're going to be doing. Today, we're going to be focusing on running and walking. For a running warm-up, I'd like to start out with some light jogging. So now, I'm running. I'm getting my heart rate revved up, I'm getting my respiratory rate revved up, I'm getting lots of blood flow to my muscles, and I'm attempting to run in a very specific manner to my activity. For walking, I can do the same activities, but I can do these same activities at a slower pace. This process should happen for about 5 to 10 minutes, and this is also a great opportunity for you to get prepared for stretching. Stretching is another really important piece of the warm-up process. What we'd like to do is be able to increase our flexibility, also prepare our muscle groups for the activity, and there is some thought that this might help us to reduce injury during our exercise. What we'd like to do today is really focus on the major muscle groups that are going to be available to us during running and walking. Now I'm going to demonstrate a calf stretch. The calf is a really important muscle group when you're talking about running and walking. Essentially, what I'd like for you to do is act like there's a wall in front of me here. And I'm going to place my hands there to give myself a little support. And I'm going to get my left leg back behind me with the heel down. That's going to allow me to stretch through that muscle group. Make sure that you keep your knee straight. Then think about just leaning your body weight forward, trying to keep that heel down, holding again for a light to moderate hold, 30 seconds. Now I'd like to demonstrate the quadricep stretch, or the thigh. Essentially, we would like to focus on both the knee and the hip in this stretch, and also work on a nice upright torso. What I'd like for you to focus on is trying to get yourself a nice solid base of support so you have good balance. Grab the ankle, stand up tall, and think about just lightly pulling through the ankle to get that stretch through the knee, and also then just gently take the hip back behind you so that you can get a little better stretch through the quad. Next, I'd like to show the hamstring stretch, or the posterior thigh. What I'd like you to think about in this circumstance is keep your body nice and upright, the leg nice and straight. Then take your hands forward and bend through the hip and the waist to identify the stretch through the hamstring. Also, what will allow you to get a little bit more of a stretch in this circumstance is just lightly pull the toes up towards you. Next, I'll be demonstrating the hip flexor stretch, or the upper thigh. Basically, what I'd like for you to focus on is keeping your hips in a nice straight plane of motion. Bring the left leg forward just slightly, your body nice and upright so that you can really accentuate the stretch through the hip, and gently leaning forward through the hip and the knee to get that stretch through the thigh. Again, I want you to hold that for 30 seconds, a light to moderate hold. We've talked a lot today about the importance of a proper warm-up and stretch prior to your activity. But don't forget that a proper cool down and stretching after activity is just as important. And if you find yourself getting injured, please contact a trained professional, such as a physical therapist at Legacy Health.